Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles.
I'd really appreciate your comment. It helps me understand if you enjoyed the story and how I can improve in future ones. She looked me dead in the eye during the video call and said, I need someone who can keep up with my lifestyle, not drag behind it. Her boss and 3 colleagues were on the call. I closed my laptop, packed my desk, and walked out of her apartment for the last time. My name is Cameron Wright. I'm 32, and I live in Austin, Texas. I drive a paid-off 2014 Mazda CX-5, live in a nice one-bedroom apartment in the Mueller neighborhood, and I've got a decent amount saved up for emergencies and retirement. I'm telling you this because financial expectations became the fault line that split my relationship apart. I'd been dating Lauren Mitchell for 2.5 years. We met in March 2022 at a friend's housewarming party in South Congress. Money was never something we fought about in the beginning. We split most expenses fairly, and it felt natural. She was sharp, witty, loved live music, and we connected over our shared appreciation for Austin's weirdness. I genuinely thought we were building toward marriage. The first year was everything I'd hoped for. We'd spend Saturday mornings at the farmer's market on Republic Square, grab breakfast tacos from Veracruz All Natural, and catch free shows at Zilker Park during Blues on the Green. She never complained about my car or my apartment. We'd talk about future plans, maybe getting a place together in East Austin, adopting a rescue dog from Austin Pets Alive, taking a road trip to Big Bend when we'd saved enough. Everything felt authentic and grounded. Lauren fit seamlessly into my life. She'd come over after work and we'd cook together, nothing fancy, just pasta or stir-fry while listening to podcasts. On Sundays, we'd hike the Barton Creek Greenbelt or bike around Lady Bird Lake. She seemed content with our rhythm. My friends loved her. Her friends seemed to like me. We had inside jokes, shared playlists, a drawer at each other's places. I was planning to propose by our 3rd anniversary. Looking back, I can pinpoint exactly when things started shifting. It was gradual, so subtle I almost missed it. But about 7 months ago, something changed in her. It started with comments about her coworkers. Lauren would come home and tell me about someone's new Audi, someone else's lake house in Lakeway, another colleague's partner who just got a massive stock bonus. At first, these were just observations. Then they became comparisons. Everyone at my level seems to be dating people who are further along in their careers, she said one night in late February while we were watching TV on my couch. She started sending me Zillow listings for houses in Tarrytown and Hyde Park, places that cost $800,000 to $1. $2 million. We should start thinking about real estate, she'd say. I'd remind her I was saving for a down payment, that we could realistically look at something in the $350,000 to $450,000 range in about 18 months. She'd nod, but her face would fall. Then there was Instagram. She'd scroll through engagement ring posts, luxury vacation photos, designer handbag reveals. She'd linger on these images, double tapping, saving them to collections. One night in March, she showed me a ring, 3 carats, platinum setting, $18,000. Isn't this stunning? She asked. I laughed and said, that's more than I spent on my car. She didn't laugh back. Her friends became a constant presence in our relationship. There was Mallory, whose boyfriend just bought her a Cartier love bracelet for their anniversary. There was Ainsley, whose boyfriend surprised her with a weekend trip to Cabo San Lucas. And there was Kendall, whose boyfriend leased her a BMW X3 for her birthday. Every time we'd hang out with them, usually twice a month at bars on Rainy Street or restaurants in the Domain, Lauren would come home quiet, withdrawn, scrolling through her phone with this distant look in her eyes. For months ago, the distance became undeniable. Our daily text exchanges, which used to be constant and playful, dwindled to occasional check-ins. I'd send her a funny meme or ask about her day, and I'd get LOL or good for hours later. When I'd suggest coming over after work, she'd say she was tired or had early meetings. Our Friday date nights became every other Friday, then twice a month, then once. I tried planning special things to reconnect. I made reservations at Uchi, got tickets to see her favorite band at Stubbs, planned a weekend trip to Fredericksburg. She canceled on Uchi, said she wasn't feeling well. She went to the concert but spent half of it on her phone. The Fredericksburg trip got postponed indefinitely because of work stuff. By May, we were barely seeing each other. When we did, she seemed physically present but mentally elsewhere. We'd be having dinner, and she'd zone out mid-conversation. I'd have to repeat myself. Sorry, She'd say, "Work has been crazy." But I knew it wasn't just work. I could feel her slipping away, but I didn't understand why. I thought maybe she was stressed about her job, or her family, or something I wasn't seeing. I never imagined it was about money. We'd never been materialistic people. At least, I thought we weren't. On a Tuesday night in mid-June, I drove to her apartment in West Campus with Thai food from Saps. She was sitting on her couch in workout clothes, laptop open, barely acknowledging me when I came in. I set the food on her coffee table and sat down next to her. "We need to talk," I said. She closed her laptop slowly. "About what?" "About us," I said. "About the fact that we barely see each other anymore. That you seem checked out. That something has clearly changed." She sighed, staring at the takeout containers. "I just feel like we're not progressing. Like, where is this relationship actually going?" "What does progressing mean to you?" I asked carefully. She gestured vaguely. "I don't know. Moving forward. Building something." "We are building something," I said. "I thought we were on the same page about that." "Are we, though?" She looked at me directly for the first time that evening. "Mallory's boyfriend just proposed with a 2-carat ring. They're looking at houses in Westlake. Ainsley and Brooks are going to Bali next month. Kendall's boyfriend is talking about getting her a Tesla for Christmas." "And that's what you want?" I asked. "A Tesla and a trip to Bali?" "It's not about that," she said quickly, defensively. "It's about ambition. It's about wanting more from life." "I want more from life too," I said. "But I also want to be smart about money. I want to save for our future, not blow it all on status symbols to impress people who don't actually care about us." She looked away. "You make it sound so shallow." "I'm not trying to," I said. "I'm trying to understand what changed. Because 6 months ago, you were happy. We were happy. Maybe I just didn't realize what I was settling for," she said quietly, almost to herself. The word hung in the air between us. Settling. Like I was some compromise she'd made without fully thinking it through. I told her I loved her. I told her I was actively saving for an engagement ring and a down payment on a house. I pulled up my savings spreadsheet on my phone and showed her my timeline. Ring by September, house hunt by next spring, proposal by our 3rd anniversary in March. I laid out my whole plan for our future. She looked at the spreadsheet, nodding slowly, but her eyes had that same distant quality I'd been seeing for months. "That's nice," she said quietly. "It's just, I don't know if that timeline works for me anymore." "What timeline would work for you?" I asked. "I don't know, Cameron. That's what I'm trying to figure out." "Do you still want to be with me?" The question came out more vulnerable than I intended. She didn't answer right away. That hesitation told me everything. "I just need to think about some things," she finally said. We ate dinner mostly in silence. The pad thai got cold between us. When I left an hour later, she kissed me on the cheek, not the lips, and said she'd text me tomorrow. I drove home with a knot in my stomach, knowing something fundamental had shifted, but not understanding exactly what. The breaking point came on Saturday night, July 13th. Lauren invited me to Kendall's 29th birthday dinner at Perry's Steakhouse in the Domain, the one with the famous pork chop and a wine list that requires a sommelier to navigate. I wore a charcoal button-down and dark chinos. Nothing flashy, but appropriate for the venue. When I arrived at 7 p.m., Lauren was already at the bar with her friends, 2 glasses of champagne deep, laughing loudly at something Ainsley was saying. She glanced at me when I walked up, gave me a half-hearted, "Hey," and immediately turned back to her conversation. I felt invisible. The restaurant was packed. All dark wood, dim lighting, candles on every table, soft jazz playing through hidden speakers. Our group had a long table near the windows overlooking the shopping plaza below, all the upscale stores lit up against the darkening sky. I sat at the end next to Lauren, who immediately angled her body toward Mallory on her other side. I ordered a Shiner Bock and tried making conversation with Grant, Kendall's boyfriend, about the Longhorns' upcoming season. He was polite enough, but kept checking his phone, barely engaged. I could already feel the night was going to be long. The appetizers arrived, crispy Brussels sprouts and crab cakes that cost $22 each. That's when Grant started talking about the Porsche 911 he'd just bought. Brand new, guards red, $118,000. He pulled out his phone, swiping through photos of the exterior, the leather interior, the dashboard, the engine bay. Everyone leaned in, making impressed noises. "Dude, that's sick," said Mallory's boyfriend, Hudson. "I've been looking at the Taikung myself." The acceleration is insane. 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, Grant said, grinning. It's like a roller coaster every time I hit the gas. Then Ainsley's boyfriend, Brooks, mentioned he'd just closed on a condo in the Sea Home development downtown. Got it for $680,000. But with everything they're building in that area, it'll be worth $850,000 in 2 years, easy. Already had it appraised $40,000 over what I paid. Hudson jumped in, talking about his firm's upcoming acquisition. If this deal closes like we're projecting, I'm looking at a potential $300,000 bonus minimum. Could be closer to $400,000 depending on the final valuation. He said it casually, like he was talking about the weather. I stayed quiet. I'm not the type to wave my paycheck around or compete in these conversations. I was cutting into my bone-in ribeye, which was admittedly perfect, minding my own business, when Lawrence said it. Yeah, well, Cameron's still driving the same car he had in college. The table went silent for a beat. Then came the awkward laughter, the kind that fills uncomfortable space. I looked directly at her, my fork halfway to my mouth. It's paid off, I said evenly. No car payment, no debt. She rolled her eyes, taking another sip of champagne. That's not the flex you think it is, babe. I felt heat creeping up my neck, my chest tightening. I set my fork down carefully on the edge of my plate. Excuse me, I said. I need to use the restroom. I walked past the bar, past couples enjoying their romantic dinners, past the open kitchen where chefs worked over flames, and into the men's room. I splashed cold water on my face, stared at myself in the mirror under the bright lights, and told myself to breathe. She was drunk. She was showing off. We'd talk about it later when she was sober. But when I came back to the table, weaving through servers carrying massive cuts of meat and bottles of wine, I heard her. She was leaning toward Kendall, her voice lowered but not low enough. I just don't see him ever being at the level I want, you know? Like, he's comfortable being mediocre. He has no real drive to level up. He's fine with good enough. I stood there, frozen 3 feet behind her chair, my hand gripping the back of an empty seat at the next table. Mediocre. No drive. Good enough. The words hit me harder than the public embarrassment. I walked back around, sat down, and didn't say another word for the rest of dinner. I smiled politely when spoken to, nodded at appropriate moments, and mentally calculated how long until we could leave. The dessert course, a pork chop-shaped cake, felt like it lasted 3 hours. When we finally got outside around 10:30 p.m., the Texas heat hit me immediately even though the sun had set hours ago. Lauren was tipsy, laughing about something Mallory said, leaning on Ainsley as they walked toward the parking garage. I told her I'd drive her home since she'd clearly had too much to drink. I'm staying at Kendall's tonight, she said, waving me off. Girls' night. We're gonna watch movies and drink more wine. All right, I said, keeping my voice level. Text me when you get there safe. Yeah, sure, she said without looking at me. I started walking toward my car in the parking structure across from the domain's main plaza. I'd made it maybe 20 feet, was almost at the crosswalk, when she yelled it. You know what, Cameron? I need someone who can keep up with my lifestyle, not drag behind it. Her voice cut through the sounds of the shopping district, the music from nearby bars, the chatter of people walking by, the distant traffic from Mopac. Everything stopped. Her friends went completely silent. A couple walking past with shopping bags turned to stare. A group of people outside the Whole Foods looked over. I stopped walking, my back still to her, and took a deep breath. Then I turned around slowly. She was standing there in her black cocktail dress and heels, arms crossed, makeup slightly smudged, looking at me like I was the one who'd done something wrong. Her friends were staring at her with wide eyes, mouths slightly open in shock. I just smiled. Calm. Controlled. The kind of smile that doesn't reach your eyes. You're probably right, I said, my voice steady and clear enough for everyone to hear. Then I turned back around, walked to my car, got in, and drove away. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I didn't cry. I didn't scream or punch my dashboard. I just drove home in complete silence, the Austin skyline blurring past my windows, my mind surprisingly blank. When I got home around 11 p.m., I poured myself 3 fingers of Maker's Mark, sat on my couch in the dark, and stared at the black TV screen for 2 hours. My phone sat face down on the coffee table. I didn't want to look at it. Around 11:45 p.m., I finally picked it up. 3 messages were waiting. Mallory, hey, I'm really sorry about tonight. That was completely out of line. You didn't deserve that. Ainsley, dude, we told her off after you left. Like, seriously went off on her. She was way out of pocket. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Kendall, Cameron, I need you to know that after you left, we all laid into her. I told her she just humiliated the best guy she's ever dated in front of everyone for no reason. Mallory called her shallow and materialistic. Ainsley said she was acting like a spoiled brat who doesn't know what she has. Lauren started crying and saying she didn't mean it, that she was just frustrated with her career and her life. But honestly, I think she's been listening to too much toxic garbage from Instagram influencers and people who think a man's worth is his bank account. You deserve so much better than this. I'm really sorry my birthday ended this way. I read all 3 messages twice. I didn't respond to any of them. I turned my phone off and went to bed at 1 a.m., staring at my ceiling in the dark, the sound of my neighbor's air conditioner humming through the wall. I woke up at 9 a.m. to 17 missed calls from Lauren and a string of increasingly desperate texts that had come in overnight. Cameron, please call me. I'm so sorry. I was drunk. I didn't mean any of it. Can we please just talk? I'm begging you. I love you. Please don't ignore me. You're not mediocre. I was just drunk and stupid. Please. I can't lose you. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I got up, made coffee, and called my best friend Leo around 10 a.m. I told him everything that happened. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "Bro, you dodged a nuclear missile. Let her sit with what she did. Don't respond. She needs to understand there are consequences for treating people like that." Monday at work, I kept my phone on Do Not Disturb the entire day. I buried myself in projects I'd been avoiding for weeks. It was exactly what I needed to keep my mind occupied. Tuesday was the same. Head down, working through lunch, staying late. Wednesday evening around 7 p.m., as I was heating up leftover barbecue from Franklin's, there was a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Lauren standing there. I opened the door. She looked absolutely wrecked. Puffy red eyes, no makeup, wearing gray leggings and a faded UT hoodie. Her hair was in a messy ponytail. "Can I come in, please?" she asked, her voice small. I sighed deeply and stepped aside. She walked in slowly and sat on my couch, the exact same spot where I'd sat alone after she humiliated me. "I was drunk and stupid," she started, her voice shaky. "I've been under so much pressure at work with this new client, and my friends have been in my ear about." I cut her off, my voice harder than I intended. "About what?" She looked down at her hands, fidgeting with her phone case. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Lauren? Explain it to me." "Because from where I'm sitting, you publicly humiliated me in front of your friends, called me mediocre, and told me I couldn't keep up with your lifestyle. So please, help me understand." She was quiet for what felt like forever. I could hear my upstairs neighbor's footsteps, someone dropping something heavy on the floor above us. Finally, she said quietly, "I guess I just wanted more." "More of what?" I leaned forward. "I work hard every single day. I'm loyal. I've never lied to you or disrespected you. I've been there for you through work stress, family drama, everything. I was planning to propose to you. What more could you possibly want?" "I don't know," she whispered, tears starting to fall. "I just feel like everyone around me is leveling up their lives, and we're just stuck in the same place." "Stuck," I repeated slowly, letting the word hang in the air. "You think 2.5 years of love and building something real together is being stuck because I don't drive a Porsche or buy you expensive jewelry?" She started crying harder, her shoulders shaking. "I didn't say that." "You did, actually. Maybe not in those exact words, but that's what you meant. You said I couldn't keep up with your lifestyle. You humiliated me." "I didn't mean it. I swear to God, I didn't mean it." "But you thought it," I said quietly, feeling surprisingly calm. "And that's the real problem here. You can apologize for saying it out loud, but you can't take back that you actually believe it." I asked her to leave. She begged me to reconsider, said she'd do anything to fix this, that she loved me, that we could go to couples therapy, that she'd prove she didn't mean it. I told her I needed space and time to think. She nodded, wiping her eyes with the sleeve of her hoodie, and left, crying as she walked down the hallway toward the stairs. A week passed. I didn't reach out, didn't check her social media, didn't ask our mutual friends about her. I just focused on myself. I started going to the gym every morning before work at Austin Bouldering Project, something I'd been meaning to do for months. It felt good to have a routine again, to challenge myself physically, to be around people who weren't wrapped up in status games. During that week, I did a lot of thinking. I thought about who Lauren was when we first met, genuine, down-to-earth, content with simple pleasures. And I thought about who she'd become, constantly comparing, always wanting more, measuring my worth by my possessions instead of my character. I realized something important. She didn't just say those things because she was drunk. Alcohol doesn't create thoughts. It just removes the filter that keeps us from saying them out loud. She'd been thinking those things for months, maybe longer. The drunk version of Lauren was just the honest version. On August 2nd, I got an unexpected call from Ainsley around 1 p.m. while I was at lunch at Torchy's Tacos. She sounded panicked, speaking fast. "Cameron, I need to tell you something, and you're going to be pissed." My stomach immediately dropped. I set down my taco. "What happened?" "Lauren's been texting her ex. Like, a lot, apparently. And Grant saw her meeting up with him at Houndstooth Coffee on North Loop yesterday afternoon." "Her ex? You mean Weston?" "Yeah. The finance guy from Goldman Sachs in Dallas who cheated on her 3 years ago. The one she said she'd never forgive." "Weston, the guy who drove a Mercedes-AMG GT, wore Omega watches, and treated Lauren like an accessory to show off at networking events. The same guy she'd sworn up and down she hated and would never speak to again after he cheated on her." "Are you absolutely sure about this?" I asked. Grant took a picture from across the street. "I'm sending it to you right now." A minute later, my phone buzzed. There they were, clear as day. Lauren and Weston sitting at an outdoor table at Houndstooth, both laughing, looking comfortable like no time had passed. She was wearing the blue sundress I'd bought her for her birthday last year. The dress, she said, made her feel beautiful. And that's when I knew. That's when everything became crystal clear. This wasn't about her being drunk at dinner. This wasn't about her being frustrated with her life. This was about her fundamentally not valuing what we had because it didn't come with the right price tag. I texted Lauren, "We're done. Don't contact me again." She called within 30 seconds. I declined the call and watched her name disappear from my screen. She texted immediately, "Lauren, Cameron, please let me explain. He reached out to apologize for everything. I swear it's nothing. We just talked. I still love you. Please." I blocked her number, her Instagram, her Facebook, everything. Complete digital silence. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. It's been 3 months since that disastrous birthday dinner. It's now mid-October, and my life has completely turned around. I got a promotion in late September with a significant raise. My manager told me my focus and work quality over the past few months had been exceptional. Funny how a clear mind and no relationship drama can improve your career. I've been hitting Austin bouldering project 5 days a week, dropped 18 pounds, and actually feel strong and healthy for the first time in years. I reconnected with my college buddies, started playing pickup soccer on Wednesday nights at Zilker Park, and honestly, I feel lighter and happier than I have in years. 2 weeks ago, I went to a small get-together at Kendall's place. About 12 people, good barbecue from La Barbecue, no drama. Mallory, Ainsley, and Kendall have all been incredibly supportive. They completely cut ties with Lauren over what happened. Apparently, Lauren kept trying to justify her choices and blamed me for not being ambitious enough, and they weren't having it. At the party, Kendall pulled me aside into her kitchen while people were hanging out on the back patio. "I need to tell you something about Lauren," she said quietly. "It's bad. Weston dumped her last week. Completely out of nowhere. She called me crying at 2 a.m. Apparently, he met someone at his firm, some lawyer who went to Harvard, and just straight up told Lauren they were done. Said the new girl was more aligned with his professional trajectory or some bullshit like that. It gets worse," Kendall continued. "He kicked her out of his apartment in Dallas the same night. She had to call an Uber at midnight with her stuff in trash bags because he wouldn't let her stay until morning. And remember that Gucci bag he bought her? He took it back. Said it was technically his property since he bought it. She's living with her parents in Round Rock now. She'd already quit her job like Weston wanted, so she had no income to keep her apartment in West Campus. She's applying to jobs, but having a 4-month employment gap is making it hard. She's basically starting over from scratch. And between you and me," Kendall lowered her voice even more. "She asked Mallory if you were seeing anyone. Mallory told her it was none of her business." I smiled at that. Good. Kendall told me that last week, Lauren tried reaching out to me from a new number. The message said she'd made the biggest mistake of her life, that Weston had dumped her, that she was stupid and shallow, that she threw away the best thing that ever happened to her. She asked if we could talk over coffee so she could apologize properly. I never responded. I blocked the number immediately. I'm not interested in being someone's backup plan or safety net. I'm not interested in being the guy she settles for after the luxury lifestyle didn't work out. I deserve someone who sees my worth from the beginning, not someone who only realizes it after they've lost it. Yesterday, I matched with someone on Hinge. Her name's Natalie Park. She's a 5th grade teacher, drives a Honda Fit, and her profile says she values authenticity over aesthetics and people over possessions. We're getting coffee this Sunday at Flight Path Coffee House. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm open to possibilities. I'm in a good place. I like who I am. I like where my life is going, and I'm not settling for someone who doesn't see that. As for Lauren, I heard through Mallory that she's back on dating apps, still living with her parents, working some contract position. She apparently posts a lot of inspirational quotes about knowing your worth and not settling, which Mallory finds absolutely hilarious given the circumstances. I don't wish her harm. I don't wish her well either. I just don't think about her anymore. I'm focused on my own life, my own growth, my own future. And honestly, it feels pretty damn good. Looking back, I'm grateful for what happened. Not because I enjoyed the pain or the humiliation, but because it taught me something valuable. It taught me that love without respect is worthless. It taught me that someone can say, "I love you," while simultaneously not valuing who you are. And most importantly, it taught me to walk away from people who only see my worth in dollar signs. My only regret is not seeing the signs earlier. But even that taught me something about what I need in a partner and what I won't tolerate. Some lessons cost more than others, but they're all worth learning. And now I'm moving forward, stronger and wiser, towards something and someone better.
Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.